Hello my gorgeous cuties out there, and welcome back to my channel. And if you're new here, hello, welcome. My name is Bree and I'm just a crazy lover of all things beauty, all things fun and glittery, and I like to post a lot of fun colorful makeup content. So if those are things you like to watch, please hit that subscribe button and join this little family. But in today's video, I'm going to do the new makeup release tag. This was created by Angelica Nikavez and Samantha March, and I thought I would do my own video and answer the questions. So if you are interested in seeing all of that, then keep on watching. Loves, I am back in my makeup room. I feel nice and refreshed. I had such a good time visiting Casey's family, hung out with his mom, his brother, his fam, all of them. We had a good old time. It was very relaxing and festive, but I am also happy to be back in my own space, my makeup room, because of course there's no place like home. But I do hope you guys also had an amazing Christmas if you do celebrate, or just an amazing weekend day in general. But I thought I would come back and start filming again because I do have a lot of videos I want to get up this week before the year ends. I can't believe it's right around the corner. This year has just flown by, and it's been one of those up and down kind of years. I think people are still going through a lot. The pandemic is still here. It's still thriving. Hopefully it gets better, but it's still been kind of rough, and I know people are still going through it. So I'm hoping that 2022 will be a way better year for everyone. But anyways, I do want to get into this tag. I will link Angelica Nikavez's video as well as Samantha March's video that they did on this. Their like newest one they did for this year. So I think they also did it last year, but I will put that in the description, as well as everything that I mentioned. The products, they'll be linked as long as they're still available. So the first question of this tag was, what mainstream release lived up to the hype most this year? And I have a few mainstream hypes that I thought were amazing. And of course, it's the Natasha Denona palettes that have come out this year. At least the ones that I have tried have been amazing, and I'm a huge fan of Natasha Denona's formula. I love her mattes, especially cream to powder ones. I love the color stories. I like her metallics. I like everything about her brand, the feel, the experience, and I thought like the retro palette was absolutely stunning. It's a Mauve Berry Dream. I did do a video on this, but I just thought everything was really nice in this, and this has a good amount of the cream to powder formula that I love. I know a lot of people hate that formula, but I am a sucker for it. And then the Circle Local palette, it's so fun and colorful, and I just love this. I think this will pair really nicely with a lot of her palettes, and this also has some cream to powders, and I just thought everything was so nice. And I know Natasha Denona gets hyped up a lot, and they definitely are worth the hype. Everything I've tried have been really good, high quality. So those were two that I thought were amazing. I also think the holiday cheek products from Pat McGrath are definitely worth the hype. The Blush and Glow trio is amazing. I have the Galactic Sun one. I took this on my trip. I used it for 5 days straight. I fall in love with the formula. I also did do a video where I'm like playing with high-end products, and I use this palette on camera. But the blushes are beautiful. They're silky, they're blendable. You can sheer them out, you can build them up. The highlighter in here is also really beautiful. I loved it so much that I picked up the other trio that's part of their Bridgerton collection that they just released. So happy with that. The other product is the highlighter in the holiday collection. This is the Sublime Skin highlighter in Lunar Nude. I think this is beautiful. When I first tried it in the video where I'm putting this on, I mentioned that I wasn't sure if it was worth the $60 price tag, but the more that I've used it off camera, I've fallen in love with the formula. There's something really special about this highlighter, and it just goes on the skin so nicely. It's silky, it's soft, it's smooth, and it does not enhance texture on my skin, and it has a like nude base to it. So I'll show you guys right here on my hand. It has a nude undertone, so it meshes really well into my skin. I actually have the highlighter on. Now I feel like it is quite reflective, but it's not in like an obnoxious way where people are like, you have too much highlighter on. I feel like there's something beautiful and natural and glowy about this, and it's just so beautiful. I just think it meshes into my skin so nicely, and I'm just now a fan, and now I get why everyone loves this product. The other collection that I thought was worth the hype was the Wild collection from Huda Beauty. Now I only picked up the Jaguar palette, and I did do a look with this on my channel, and I thought it was really good. Like the quality was really nice, and usually the mini palettes from Huda Beauty aren't the best, but this one was so good. This is full of cool tones and purples, and I saw that a lot of people love the other mini palettes, and I've been wanting to pick them up, but they were all positive reviews on them, and I see a lot of people have really loved this Wild collection. So I think this did definitely meet the hype. So the next question was, which indie release lived up to the hype most this year? So the first one that I wanted to mention is this one right here, and I did see some people say that this was something they didn't think was worth the hype, but I did. This was the Michaela palette with Glam Light. I think she did such an amazing job with this palette. I love the packaging, like the little sparkles, and I love the color story, the options. I feel like it's a big palette, but not too big, and you get so many options. The shimmers are great in here. I love the grungy shades. I like that it had neutrals in here, some jewel tones. I think she picked some really good colors to put in her palette with Glam Light, and I totally thought this was worth the hype. And I like that they had such a high stock of this, so you didn't have to really worry about it getting sold out. Now it eventually did sell out, but they brought it back, they restocked it, and I think it's still available on Glam Light's website, and I think this was totally worth the hype in my opinion. I did do a video on this, and I was totally happy with the looks that I was able to create with that palette. The other stuff that I thought were worth the hype from indie brands was this from Glaminatrix. This is the You Beauty palette, and this sold out so fast when it first launched, and then they did a second pre-order. It sold out again, and I know why, because this is amazing. So this is the color story right here, and it's full of these beautiful metallics, these beautiful pigment tip mattes, and it has some dual chromes in here. Like this Good Day one is so beautiful, and this Old Mate one, they're just absolutely gorgeous. And I think Glaminatrix just has an amazing eyeshadow formula. I think it's worth every penny, and they are on the pricier side, but you just get such good quality. Like look how reflective those shadows are. Like so many people were like, I need this palette, and I was on the site when this launched. I was like, hit, order, and I was so happy I ended up getting it because so many people didn't get it on the first pre-order. But this was so worth the hype that it got. I also think the palettes that Adept Cosmetics came out with this year were worth the hype. The Nihydran one and the Oden palette, these sold out several times. They're full of special metallics that are just so stunning, so beautiful, and it's so creamy. Now, I don't think the matte formulas are that amazing from them, but the metallics are where it's at. And here's the Oden palette. Come on, look at these shades. And I have talked about these palettes many times on my channel, and I'm just amazed at how nice this stuff is. Like, look at that metallic. Oh, I could just like swatch these things over and over. I'm like gonna lose space, but they're so beautiful and shiny. And this one, the Oden palette, clean my fingers off. They're just really special. So I think these were worth it. I get why these kept getting sold out. I don't think they show up as beautiful as they are in person and as beautiful as they look on the eyes, but you can't go wrong with either of these palettes. I also think the Break the Rules palette from It'sbell Cosmetics was worth the hype. This sold out so many times, and this is just a palette full of special shades. I've used this on my channel. I've talked about this palette many times. If you are looking for a more affordable palette that is full of special shades, this is it right here. I really like It'sbell Cosmetics. I think they have such a stunning formula. Like, I'm gonna show you guys right here. This shade, come on. I barely had to touch it, and it's just so intense, so foiled. Like, I'm always blown away every time I swatch these shadows and put them on my eyes. So that was definitely worth the hype. So the next question is, what releases did not live up to the hype? I have two things to mention here. One, I think most people are going to disagree with me because a lot of people love this palette. It is on like people's top 5s. People even put this as worth the hype, but this is not worth the hype for me. This is the Wilderness palette by Beauty Bay. This is the Beauty Bay brand. This was so hyped. Like people lost their shits when this came out because the color story is so beautiful in this. Like when I saw it, I was like, I have to have this. And this was like my first time trying out the Beauty Bay formula. And I didn't think it was worth the hype. So many people love this, but I thought the matte formulas did not perform that well. And that's just my like opinion in terms of like my preferences when it comes to mattes. I feel like they're not very blendable. I feel like they don't build very well. You have to start off with the darkest mattes. And even when you do that, I feel like the looks still come out patchy. Like all the looks that I've created with this were patchy, and the look that I created on camera I thought looked patchy. I just didn't think it was the best. I think the metallics are beautiful in here. I think the color story is phenomenal in here. I like the packaging. I just don't like the mattes. So I don't know why so many people love this, but in my opinion, I don't think the formula is that great in here besides the metallic. So I don't think this was worth the hype. The other thing that I did not actually pick up, but I saw a lot of reviews on it, was the Cyber palette from Urban Decay. So many people did not like that palette, and from what I heard, the like shadows were really lackluster. Like the special shades that were supposed to be like super stunning, super different for Urban Decay were just so muted. I heard the mattes were just okay, and I feel like most Urban Decay palettes haven't gotten that well of good reviews because there's something about them, they just haven't stepped up their game. I think they're like stuck in the past. So the idea was amazing, but the execution was terrible from what I can see. The other question is, what was the biggest curveball? Now, this is what I thought was one of the strangest collabs that I saw this year. It was the one with NYX and that Money Heist show from Netflix. I thought that was so strange, like a Money Heist show and makeup. How does that go together? Does that make any sense? Like, what made them think, I'm gonna call NYX, or NYX wanted to call them and say, hey, let's do a collab. It totally makes sense. People are gonna love this. Now, I'm sure the show is very good. A lot of people probably love it, but does it correlate at all to makeup? And I feel like a lot of the collabs that came out this year were just so strange, but I thought that was one of the strangest ones that I saw that made absolutely no sense to me. And the actual packaging, the products just looked so terrible, so oversized, so just like blah. So I thought that was totally a curveball, such a strange one. The next question was, what was the biggest letdown at Snooze Fest of this year? And for sure, the Urban Decay collaboration with Prince. That collection to me was so muted, so boring, so uninspiring, and to do it on someone who is so inspiring is crazy to me. Prince is a whole mood, a whole vibe. He's a legend, he's an artist, and to make something that was so muted, so boring, so lackluster for Prince just blew my mind. And I felt like Urban Decay was gonna mess this up because they just usually don't come out with good releases, to be honest. They're stuck in the past. I don't know what's going on with them, but I was kind of sad when I saw that they were doing a collaboration with Prince. I wish they had done it with another brand because they did not do Prince any justice with that release. So I thought that was such a letdown. The next release that I thought was also a letdown slash snooze fest was the new release of R.E.M. Beauty by Ariana Grande. When I first saw like all the products sneak peeked, I was like, what is this? This looks like Claire's makeup. It looks so cheap and so boring. And I was like, Ariana Grande, you're a mood too. You're a vibe. You're fun. You're spunky. Like, what is this? Like, did you just find like the cheapest packaging, or did like a brand just say, here's some products we have, can you slap your name on it? Like, I was just so shocked by that. And I haven't seen positive reviews on her collection, and I don't think a lot of people picked it up. Like in the comments below when they showed the products, everybody was like, nope, 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 cheap, cheap, cheap. So I thought that was a huge letdown, and I feel like she could have done something so fun, so fresh, just with her whole style and stuff. So I'm shocked that that's the kind of collection that she put her name on. So unfortunately, I thought that was a really big letdown. The next question is, what was the best holiday release this year? And I have a bunch of them in front of me. So of course, I thought the collection from Melt Cosmetics was so beautiful. The Amor y Mariposas collection. Oh, it's such a stunning palette. The artwork, the shades in here, the butterflies, just the packaging alone is absolutely stunning. And this is the good Melt formula. The mattes are pigmented, they're blendable. I love that this is more colorful. I like the mix in here. There's a lot of nice dark, colorful mattes that perform so well. And I did do a video on this and I loved all the looks that I created with this. I think they did such a beautiful holiday release with this. The other holiday release that I thought is amazing that I just posted a video on, but I have used this a lot because this is all I had when I was at Casey's mother's house. These are the only two palettes I could use to create looks, and I did do my makeup most days that I was there, and I thought these were so good. This is from Unearthly Cosmetics. This was their holiday release. Their Smells Like Holiday Spirit and the In the Dark palette. I love that these are not overly holiday themed. I feel like you can use these all year round, and I love Unearthly Cosmetics. They make the coolest color stories. They're often colorful, they're often a little dark, they're often grungy, which is totally my vibe. So come on, look at this. Grungy, colorful, there's depth, there's just so many beautiful shades in here. And I love the like plaid decor. I love the design on the outer part. Thought this was such a good holiday release. And then the other one, the In the Dark collection. If you like darker, more cool tone, more smoky looks, you would love this. This is also another one. You wouldn't know that this was for like the holiday season, but look at it. It's so beautiful, and there's a little bit of like a grungy shaded here. The two shimmers are really pretty, and I love the other looks that I created with this palette, and I thought this was such a good release. Another one, and even though I've used it once, I'm already in love with this. This is the Silent Night palette from Glaminatrix. Also a amazing formula. It's just as good as the You Beauty palette. So it's like, I don't need to create a bunch of looks to know that this is a amazing holiday palette. But look at this color story. I just posted a video on this, but all of them swatch beautifully. They're just magnificent. The Babble shade in here is a dual chrome. It's so pretty. Do you guys see that? I don't know where else to swatch these things, but it has like a violet blue shift. It's really, really pretty. This one right here is so sparkly, fairy lights. It's like this beautiful sparkly like white shade that has somewhat of like a gold shift to it. Do you see how reflective that is? The mattes are pigmented but blendable. They're just so freaking good. Oh my gosh, if you have not tried Glaminatrix, you definitely should. They make such good mattes as well as really good metallics. So I think that this was also a really nice, stunning holiday release. So the next question is, what was the best collab of 2020? And there was also some really good collabs this year, and I just could not pick one because there were so many that I loved. Of course, I have to mention this one from Collabs. This is the Club Nebula palette with Angelica Nikovas. She killed it with this palette. I did do a video on this. I loved it. I love Collabs formula. I love that it's colorful. I love the sparkly shades in here. There's so many deep, colorful mattes. I just love this color story. It has everything that I would want in a palette. This is so good. Unfortunately, it's no longer available and they're not making it anymore, but I think this was such a good collab. The other collabs that I thought were amazing were the ones with Oden's Eye and the three collaborators, Annette's Makeup Corner, the Fancy Face, and Judy. All of their palettes are beautiful. I love all of them. I love the color stories. They all perform really well. I did also do a video where I did a look with each palette. Look at the Fancy Faces color story. It's so colorful and tropical. I love the Giant Wolves palette that Annette did. More dark, a little grunge. And then the one with Judy, she did a more nude one with a little bit of grunge, a little pop of red. They were just so good. I was so blown away. I think that was one of the best releases from Oden's Eye. And I have pretty much all of Oden's Eye's releases and I've loved all of them, but I think these ones stand out the most. The next palette, which I think did not get enough hype, this is the Perception palette. This was the collaboration with Midas and the Basic Bee. And I don't feel like enough people talked about this palette. I feel like most people don't know how great Midas formula is. But look at this color story. The mattes are pigmented, they're blendable, they're a stunning formula. It has beautiful sparkly metallics in here, and there's so many options. There's neons, there's grungy shades, there's deep shades, there's lighter shades. They have a white in here, they have a black, so you can lighten stuff up, you can deepen stuff up. I mean, it has everything I could need in a palette to create so many different looks, and I don't get why people didn't talk about this more. Like, don't sleep on Midas. They're a really good brand. So yes, this was another good collab. And the last one that I wanted to mention was the Hauntingly Glamorous palette with Unearthly Cosmetics and Cindy Nicole. She did a good job. This is so good. The mattes are really nice in here. It has a lot of cool tones, a lot of deep, colorful mattes. It has some beautiful reds. It has a few shimmers in here that work really well. It's like toppers or inner corners. They have this like limey green one, and I did 2 looks on my channel with this. Love how they turned out. I've used this with other palettes because this is a really good accent palette with palettes that have a lot of shimmers. This works well alone. You can create beautiful all matte looks with it. I mean, come on. This color story I think is unique. I think Unearthly and Cindy Nicole did a good collaboration with this. And I don't know why this didn't get as much hype as it should have. But those are all the collabs that I thought were like the best this year. The last question is, what are your predictions for releases during next year? And I feel like they're going to continue doing the collabs with Netflix shows. I feel like the shows that Netflix are coming out with are so big. They're so hyped. And I think brands are going to keep, you know, jumping on that bandwagon and doing collaborations with Netflix shows. I also feel like collabs with smaller influencers are going to continue. I feel like there was a good amount this year, and I feel like that will continue into next year. People want to see different faces in the beauty community. I think most people are tired of seeing the same people get collabs. So seeing like smaller influencers that a lot of people find more relatable have collabs, I think it's going to continue to be a thing. I also feel like multi-chromes are also still going to be a thing for next year. I feel like it's going to become the standard thing to have at least one multi-chrome in a palette that comes out next year. I feel like that is what everybody is about now, like new shifty special shades being put in palettes. So I feel like brands are going to continue to release palettes that have some multi-chromes in it. At least one is going to be in a palette that comes out from a lot of brands. At least that's what I'm thinking, because there's been like all multi-chrome palettes that have come out at the end of this year. There's multi-chrome liners, there's multi-chrome liquid shadows. So I think for sure that is going to continue into next year. Anyways, guys, that was all the questions for these new makeup releases. Hopefully I did not talk your ears off, because I feel like I have been talking a lot. But you guys will have to let me know in the comments below, do you agree or disagree with the things that I've said? What are your predictions? What are your like favorite releases and everything? I would love to hear from all of y'all. And if you're new here and you enjoyed this video, you like makeup content, tag videos, please hit that subscribe button and join this little family. Also, don't forget to check out the description below. Like I said, I'll have Angelica's video as well as Samantha's video. I'll have all the questions, all the products I mentioned linked, as well as the makeup I'm wearing in case you're curious. I will also have my social media platforms if you want to check me out on Instagram. I am Breezy Lifestyle and Breezy_Beauty. And I'm also on TikTok as Breezy_Beauty. So I would love to see you on my other platforms. But guys, I am ready to head out and go relax for the night. But thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video, for being here, for supporting my channel. I really appreciate it. And I do hope you are having a wonderful holiday season. I hope you have a wonderful New Year's, or Happy New Year's if you're watching this after the holiday. But I'm just sending you guys all so much love and light. But until next time, bye guys.